Hey everybody, it is Gordon Majak here, back with another episode of Timeless Pop, Rock, and Soul on a rainy, cool Friday afternoon. Now, if you've been around the channel for a while, you've heard me say many times how I just sort of follow my muse sometimes, right? Sometimes I know what I'm going to be playing and I can sort of follow a general playlist, but other times I really don't know from one day to the next or one song to the next what I'm going to be playing or talking about. I just sort of let the muse inspire me, and wherever that music takes me, that's where I go. And that is absolutely the case today. This is a song today that I wasn't even planning on doing a video today at all, and I wasn't planning on playing this song probably for a little while longer yet. But this lyric has just been stuck in my head all week. It's just been haunting me. And from this song. And so I am going to share this song with you today urgently. Apparently, it's an urgent matter that I do so. So I'm going to play this song for you, and I'm even going to read a little bit of this lyric for you as well before we jump into it, just so you can get an idea of what it is that's been stuck in my head for this entire week, nagging me, play me, play me. Here is our artist and our album. We are going back to 2003. This is Robert Lamm's solo album, Subtlety and Passion. Now you're saying, wait a second, Robert Lamm, why does that name sound just ever so slightly vaguely familiar? Well, Robert Lamm, since the late 60s there, one of the founding members and the primary keyboardist and a lead vocalist for Chicago, okay? So this is Robert Lamm of Chicago, famous Chicago keyboardist and vocalist, the composer of so many classic Chicago songs back in the day, back there in the 70s. There was a pretty good stretch of time there early in Chicago's career when Robert Lamm virtually carried that band from a songwriting perspective. No joke about that. So we're talking about a pretty accomplished artist here, a pretty mature artist. And this is, as I said, from Robert's solo album, Subtlety and Passion. And this was actually his fifth solo album. And as prolific as Chicago has been all of these years, or was at least all of those years ago, I should say, Robert Lamm, just about as prolific in his solo career. I counted 13 solo albums for Robert since the 70s. So he's been putting in the time on his solo side, even if the Chicago side of it was slowing down from a songwriting perspective. But this is a song, as I said, from 2003. It's a song called You Never Know the Story. And from the very first time that I heard this album, Subtlety and Passion, back there in 2003, this was one of so many songs on this album that really grabbed me and really stuck with me and has just been haunting me all week. Check out these lyrics, and I don't even know why. There's just something in my head that these lyrics have really been speaking to me this week. But this is the main hook of the song. You never know the story of another's broken heart. What was a sweet romance was something might have fell apart. You never know the colors of another's broken dreams, the ending of a love affair, more costly than it seems. And pretty personal and intimate lyrics there from Robert Lamm. And as you hear the song here in a minute, you can see that it's autobiographical to a great extent. And there's even a verse here where Robert Lamm is writing about his dearly departed bandmate, the late, great Terry Kath of Chicago. So Robert slips in some references to Terry Kath as well as from his own life. And I don't know what it is about this lyric. There's just something about this lyric stuck in my head and making me think about how sometimes we just really do not know what other people are dealing with from any given point in time, right? Something to ponder. So let's see what you think of this one from 2003. It is Robert Lamm, the keyboardist and vocalist of Chicago, from his solo album, Subtlety and Passion. And this is his own composition, which he is singing as well. It's called You Never Know the Story.
junkie gets so high, so high. He left his records there under his folding chair. I took them home with me. I listened and that music stayed with me. Yeah. Oh, it stayed with me. You never know the story of another's broken heart. What was a sweet romance was something might have fell apart. You never know the color of another's broken dream. The ending of a love affair more costly than it seems. Jerry was a lucky man, a big heart with a big plan. His love lay far and wide. When he turned away to go, we cried. Oh, we cried, we cried, we cried. Yeah, yeah. Lie to ourselves to live. Jump reason that we give. Time's up before you know you give up the ghost and learn it's love. It's love. Yes, it's love. It's love. You never know the story of another's broken heart. Was a sweet romance, was something might have fell apart. Never know the color of another's broken dream. Ending of a love affair more costly than it seemed. Yeah, 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 yeah. Think I found a part of me, a little part of me that I just lost somehow. Oh yeah, bringing up sweet memories of other days into my here and now. Oh, here and now. You never know the story of another's broken heart. What was a sweet romance was something might have fell apart. You never know the color of another's broken dream. The ending of a love affair more costly than it seems. You never know the story of another's broken heart. Was a sweet romance was something might have fell apart. You never know the color of another's broken dream. The ending of a love affair more costly than it seemed. Yeah, 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 yeah. You never know the story. You never know the story. Might have fell apart.
The great Robert Lamm of Chicago. You never know the story, and that is from Robert's solo album Subtlety and Passion. And as I mentioned there, Robert, 13 solo albums to his credit over the years. And of course, you go back to the old days of Chicago there, and Robert was the man. He was the heavy hitter in the band from the songwriting perspective right out of the gate. You think of Beginnings, and Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is, and Free, and Dialogue, and Saturday in the Park, and you just go on and on and on. So many great Chicago songs composed and often sang by Robert Lamm. But this one from his solo album, I have to say, this, I think, of all of his solo albums, and I think I've heard just about all of them, and I have a few of them. This was an album there in 2003. I think Chicago was in a particularly deep creative funk, and so Robert was exercising his muse on the side without the band. And I think Robert himself even said that at this particular point in time there in 2003, this album, Subtlety and Passion, was sort of his take on if he was going to do a Chicago album with the band, what would that album sound like to his ears? He really looked at this as sort of an offshoot Chicago project, and even got a couple of the guys in the band to come along for the ride, Jason Sheff and Lee Loughnane, for sure on this record. Yeah, but a solo effort from Robert Lamm, and you always get the great lyrics with Robert and some pretty cool instrumental tracks as well, and no exception on this one. The next time we hear Robert, it will be in the band context of Chicago, but like I said, this song, that lyric just haunts me, man. Time's up before you know, you give up the ghost and you learn it's all about love. Oh my goodness. Some words to ponder there from Robert, and I appreciate that. You never know the story. Something to think about, huh? There you go, folks. Friday afternoon, just a quick improv here. I had to jump in and do this and get this one off of my mind because it's just been haunting me all week when I go on my walks and stuff. I keep singing this song to myself over and over. And that's usually the indication that it's time to jump on here and play it for you guys too. So, we will be back tomorrow with the big triple play, the Saturday triple play, and I still do not know which artist I am going to be doing tomorrow. I'm bouncing back and forth between a couple. We'll see what I come up with. I'm sure it will be good, whoever it is. Happy Friday, folks. See you in the next one. Saturday in the park. That's Robert Lamm.